Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam, sir.
Waalaikumsalam, sir.
How are you? Semua okay?
Okay,
Alright.
sir.
Dengar tak sini? Do you hear me?
Dengar, sir.
Dengar.
Okay. So what I will do today, we are going to continue with the depreciation example, and then I will continue. All right. I will continue 1.3. There are a few more things on 1.3, and then we move on to 1.5. That will be on the system of linear equation or function. So let's finish up the example on the depreciation. So what we want to do, I hope everybody already did that example. Now let's go to that example. I would like to look at the concept of slope as per that example. So how do we interpret the slope? And then how do we interpret the what do you call it?
Intercept.
The y-intercept. And of course, the x-intercept. Okay. Now, are you here? Did you hear me? Are you hearing me? Dengar tak ke tak dengar ni?
Dengar. Dengar, sir.
Hello? Because I didn't hear any sound, you know. So, do you hear me or you don't? Sound saya ni okey ke tak?
Dengar, sir, dengar.
Kalau tak ada bunyi ni, kan? Saya punya sound tak ada. Microphone. Hello? Hello? Oh, tak dengar. Memang betul ke? Apa pasal? Yes?
We can hear you, sir.
Patutlah. Hello? Hello?
Hello,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Boleh dengar ke tak boleh dengar ni? Hello?
Boleh,
You can hear me?
Dengar,
Yes.
boleh dengar.
Cakap lah, weh. Bisu semua ni.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Dengar, sir. Hello, sir.
Say something. Did you hear me? Did you hear me or not?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so but I cannot hear you. So now, you know, we look at the slope. All right. What is the slope of the function? How do you describe the slope? So if you go back to the graph, you know, to the example, you have the x-intercept, which is equal to 120. So you have the depreciation example. The y-intercept is equal to what? Equal to y equal to 122,880. Now, what does it mean? So to interpret that thing, okay, to interpret that thing is that at time equal to 0, okay, the value of the asset is $122,880. All right, so that is interpretation of the y-intercept. Now, if you look at the x-intercept, how do you interpret it? That is what? That is the value is equal to 120. So what does it mean? It means that at 120 months. Okay, so here at 120 months, which is the time period, the value of the asset is 0. Okay, so that is the interpretation of the intercept. Now, did I mute everybody? I don't think I mute everybody. Huh? Mute? Say mute semua orang? No, I don't think so. Did I mute you? I don't know. I don't think I mute everyone. Okay, so that is the intercepts, all right? And then you could look at the graph, okay? You draw the graph. So that's about the example. Now, what I want to do next is you want to draw the line, okay? Given some information. Given some information, we can draw the line. Number one, if you are given 2 points, right, we'll draw the line. Number two, you are given 1 point, and we know the slope. Okay, so we do it also. Number three, We are given the slope
Sir.
and we are given the intercept. So we can. So
Sir.
there are three ways. Okay, there are three types of information that we are given, and we can draw the graph. Now let's look at number one. Now, when you are given 2 points, so let's say, okay, let's say 2 points on the line. Of course, we call it x1, y1, and then given another point x2, y2. Now, how do we get the function?
Sir.
Get the function, or you find the function. What we do, we use y equal to mx plus b. All right. Now, firstly, find the slope. Find the slope m, which is equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Okay. And then number two, once you know the slope, we substitute 1 point. Okay, 1 point. Either x1, y1 or x2, y2. X1, y1 into the equation. And then we will get B to obtain. So that's how we get the function. Now, let's do this by an example. So to look at an example, suppose we look at 2 points, any 2 points, all right? Because from that 2 points, we can get the slope. And then we find the intercept. So suppose we have 2 points here given, given 1, 0, 1 point, and then you have another point, say 10, 15. All right, so given these 2 points, then find the equation, okay? Find the linear function. So what we do, okay, firstly, we get the slope. Okay, m is equal to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Okay, x2, x1. Yeah, I think that's why the thing is, how come I cannot hear you?
Sir.
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 Unmute.
Sir.
Huh? Can you unmute that?
Sir. Sir.
Go on,
Sir,
then.
we tried.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
Okay, now, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Susah
Yes,
juga ni.
sir.
Jauh bisu.
Long time.
Dah boleh dengar screen tak? Dah boleh tengok screen?
Sir.
Baru je boleh tengok.
Lah.
Okay. Tadi dia bertukar tu. Benda tu dia bertukar kan ni. Okay. Now, can you hear me? Boleh dengar tak? Tak boleh dengar?
Boleh, boleh.
Boleh,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Tengok. Ni kamera
We
off
can
pula
hear
ni.
you.
Gila menatang ni.
Shit. Hello. Hello.
Okay. Dah dengar? Tengok macam mana?
Weh, se-mute tu kan mic.
Dia dah hilang ke?
Ah, sudah.
Dua-dua hilang.
Sir, kita orang tak dengar, Sir.
Keluar je lah.
Tiga. Mak ai. Se?
Ada ke?
Wah, se kena. Oh, okey, dapat dah.
Kacau betul lah. Saya mute. Saya tak mute pun.
Kita orang tak dapat dengar, Sir.
Sekejap.
Okey, se.
Okey.
Kamera dia dahsyat.
Ayah pun rasa ni sebab dengar begini. Kenapa eh? Saya dah check dah benda tu. Okey je. Stop share dulu. Okay.
Mikrofon ni ayah pakai mikrofon ni.
Selalu memang kita pakai real tech. Real tech. Ini kot speaker real tech kot ni.
Ni speaker kalau nak dengar kan. Okey, tu tak nampak ada ni. Cuba cakap.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Hello, sir.
Se.
Tak dengar.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Ya,
Se.
tapi student saya dengar.
Oh, okey. Speaker ayah.
Huh?
Speaker lah kita yang tak dengar kan.
Kita tak dengar di other party. Hello?
Hello, se.
Hello, sir.
Bos saya. Slow.
Dulu kita pakai ni. Dulu pakai
Testing. Ni lah.
dia dengar ayah.
Oh, okey.
Tapi kita tak dengar dia. Entah lah.
Ni patut ada bunyi ni katanya. Dia tak keluar je.
Tu lah dia benda tu ada. Apa benda tu yang nampak tu. Kita je tak dengar.
Betul.
Okey dah. Hello?
Hello, Sir.
Hello.
Sekali. Tak tahu dia.
Se.
Cabut ya. Hello?
Hello, se.
Baru dengar.
Okey, se.
Apa saya mute saya pun tak tahulah. Ini nasib baik ada technician kat rumah.
Ya, se.
Sekarang saya pun dengar suara saya. Okey. Aduh, penat lah macam ni. Okey, nanti saya kena test lah menatang ni. Susah dia. Okey, so now we continue. Kena share screen balik dah ke?
Ya.
Kena share screen balik. Susah. Okey, nampak benda tu eh?
Yes, we
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sorry lah. Saya duduk cakap seorang je, tak dengar orang lain cakap. Okay, so we will continue from here. You have... apa dia?
Can you repeat the
Repeat what?
explanation, sir?
Explanation on what?
Before this.
Before this, no, it's okay. You go home, you get the recording. Okay. It's a wasting of time. So I will continue from here.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank
So
you.
you go home. I will give you the recording by tomorrow. I'll give you earlier. So check, because I'm sorry, we wasted a few minutes, but I already described the intercepts. So I hope if you did try it at home, I don't think there should be any problem, because that's related to the concept that we learned last class. So I give you a few more questions afterwards, and then you try to do those questions. I don't think there will be a problem. So let's continue from here. You will get the slope by using the 2 points. So x2 minus x1, which you will use the formula. So we let 1 point, okay, x1, y1 be equal to 1, 0. And then the other point will be x2, y2 equal to the 10, 15. So the slope will be what? So the slope by substitution equal to 15 minus 0. Okay, that is y1 is 0, divided by 10 minus 1. So you got 15 over 9. Now 15 over 9 is 5 over 3. So 5 over 3, I think sometimes it's more convenient you convert into decimal point. Right? So you can maintain 5 over 3. Or 5 over 3 is equal to 0.6. Is that right? Okay. So that is M, the slope. So now to get B, correct?
Sir,
Yeah,
1.6.
5 over 3. Yeah. It is, yeah, it's 3.3 over 5 is 0.6. Okay, 1.6. Now you find B, we substitute the M equal to, no, that. To find B, to be like this. To find B, okay? To find B, this is how. Are you open up there? To find B, this is how. So we already have what? We already have by M, Y equal to mx plus B. So M is already 1.6. So you got 1.6 M plus B. So we have already, no, find B, we do it later. So we already have this one, okay? So you have Y equal to 1.6 plus B. So next, you have to find B. Okay, now we find B. So to find B, how do we do it? We substitute, okay? Substitute 1 point into Y. Now that 1 point can be either y1, x1, or y2, x2. It's up to us, okay? We make the choice into y. So either you use x2, y2, or x1, y1, or this one or that one, it doesn't matter. We need only 1 point because the slope is the same, okay? The slope is the same, so it doesn't matter. So you have to substitute that 1 point into y to get the constant b. That means the y-intercept. So we choose what? We choose the one that is easier to compute. Now, when you make a choice, of two options, normally, all right, normally we will, our criteria, okay, one criteria, you may not have to follow this because at the end you will get the same thing. But normally we choose the one that is simpler, okay? Smaller numbers. It involves 0 or 1 or, smaller numbers so that we can easily compute. So here, I think easier to compute by using 1 and 0. So if you substitute that, into the y, what do you get? So you can get the value. So what we do, okay, we substitute 0. So we substitute 1, 0, which is x1, y1 into y. You can also use the other point, okay? You can also use, here, you can also use x2, y2. Into y, what do I get? I get, you know, y is 1.6x, okay? So by substitution, we have 1 equal to 1.6 multiplied by 0, which is x, equal to b. So therefore, b is not b lah, not equal to plus 2 plus b. So therefore, b is equal to 1. Okay, because 0 times. Huh?
1 is x. Y is 0.
1 is x. I think today, you know, today our class will continue until 1 o'clock. Because saya buat banyak silap. Okay, y is 0. Betul, thank you. So 0 is equal to 1.6 times 1 plus b, right? Which will give us b equal to negative 1.6. Macam itu, betul lah. So you got that b. So therefore, our equation would be y equal to 1.6x plus negative 1.6. So that would be negative 1.6. Yeah, betul ke? 1.6? Negative 1.6. Betul kan?
Betul.
Terkejut saya sebab first time dapat soalan, dapat equation macam ni. You know, first time in my life. Okay, I have the slope m tu sama dengan b. Jarang dapat tu. You know, today is a good day, even though it was mute, you know, for a few minutes. So that was the function. So I give you homework. Okay, homework is just an extension of what we do here. I mean, you do it by the other way around. So you substitute x2, y2 and see what equation do we have. We should have the same equation, same function. Okay, so homework question you do with x2, y2, substitute like what we are doing here, you will get the same function. All right, so that's number 1. Now, number 2, you are given a point. Say, you are given a point, we call it x1, y1, okay, equal to negative 5, 31, and then we are given, the slope. Okay, you are given the slope. And b, not slope, the y-intercept. Okay, let's say y-intercept is equal to 12. So how do you get the function? So again here, you know, you already have b. So you need to find what? You need to find the slope. So here, all right, given b, what do we have? We have y equal to mx plus 12. So we need to find m. Okay, so how do you find m? Again, here we substitute. Okay, substitute the point that you are given, x1, y1, because there is no other point, into y. Okay, so there will be not much problem. So what you do, we need to find m. So you put in these two values, x1, y1, and then you get m. So can you do that? Okay, do it quickly. Okay, what do you get? M?
Negative 3.8.
Everybody got negative 3.8?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
good.
Yes.
Substitute je lah, senang je kita. So we get, okay, so you do the work. Okay, I hope everybody do the work. We got y equal to negative. Can you repeat?
3.8.
3.8. 3.8.
Yes.
Yes.
X plus 12. Okay, so now we can also have a situation where you know the slope. Okay, we know the slope and you are given a point. So, actually for number 2, you can have the other possibility that here, you are given b, let's say equal to negative 6. Then you are given also a point, okay, call it x1, y1 equal to 5, 7. Suppose you are given that one. So again here, we do by substitution. So in order for you to do that, you need to find m, all right? So given the b, what we have y equal to m x. Tadi kita buat apa tadi? Tadi kita ada b juga kan? Oh, sama je. Oh, no, sama. So here given the slope, all right? What I think what I meant was given the slope. So given the slope m equal to negative 6, then you have another point. Okay, you're given also a point, then we can also find the function. So we have negative 6 because we already know the slope. And then what you need to find b. Here again, to find b, what do? We substitute. Okay, substitute the point x1, y1 into y. All right. Okay. So what you have is slope is already given. So you have, by doing the substitution, you got 7 equal to negative 6, okay, multiplied by the value of x, which is 5, plus b. Okay, so what is b? b is equal to 7 plus 30. So that will be 37. So you got b 37. That means your function is y equal to negative 6x plus 37. So for number 2, you can either be given the slope and 1 point, or you are given 1 point and the y-intercept. Either way, we can find the function. Okay. Now the third possibility is very trivial because you are given, okay, you are given the slope. Say m equal to 3 over 7. And then the value of b, say equal to negative 25. So what is the function? So by substitution, you get we just do direct substitution. By substitution, you got y equal to 3/7 x minus 25. Okay. So that would be the last part of 1.3. And 1.3 we're finished. All right. So I would like you to read a few things. Okay, just a few things, not so much. You read the idea of the concept of the parallel line. Okay, you got parallel and then perpendicular. Now this is on 1.3. So 1.3, I want you to read that part. If you look at the book, the 11th edition, this is on page 79. Okay, page 79. All right. Okay. Right. So we are done with 1.3. Now I would like to look at example number 7. So go to example number 7 on 1.3. This is on the US population. So go to 1.3. 1.3 itulah example number 7. The US population. So if you look at that example, we have the equation given, all right? Given population here, the equation is given there, y equal to something. And then the y is the population male. Okay, male only. The male population of the US in thousands. And the x is the number of years after 2000. So you look at that example. I want to focus this one. If you look at the x is the number of years, all right, after 2000. Now here we are given the year 2000, but when you look at the x, the independent variable, or it can be dependent variable, which we assign the letter to. So you have x is the number of years after 2000. Now when you put the values of x, you don't put 2000, okay, because it's the number of years. So when you do that, or when you have this kind of variable, we do this. We convert the year, okay, into the number of years. So this is how we do it. So you got the x here. Okay, this is 2000. 2000 is the beginning year. So 2000 beginning year, in terms of the number of years, that is 0, at the starting point. So 2000 here is the starting point, okay, or the starting year, or starting period. So starting period is equivalent to 0. Okay, so you don't put the year 2000, all right? You put 0, and 0 is 2000, the year 2000. So if you are talking about the population in 2020, you don't put in the value 2020. What do you put in? Will you put in the number of the year? Okay, that means what? 0, 2000 is 0. To 2020 means what? 20 years. Okay, so you have to do the conversion from the year to the number of the year. From where? From some reference point. Normally they will give you, beginning 1920. So that 1920 will be time equal to 0. Okay, and then you move on from there. So for this example, you have the year, all right, after 2000, that means 2000 will be 0, all right? Okay. Any question about that? So I would like you to read example number 3 because the solution is given. Okay. So you just go through that. I just want to emphasize the concept of the time period, okay, which relate to the year. Okay. Any question about this? Okay. All right. So I give you a few more questions for 1.3 that will relate to what we were doing today. So I give you already the question on, a few questions last time. So today I give you number 29. Okay, you do these questions. You can try question number 29 to 34. That is, you are given the point and you're given the slope. Okay, so we do that. And then from 35 to 38. So here you are given 2 points. So what you do, you find the equation of the linear function. And then the application, I would like you to do number 49, depreciation, similar to the example that we were doing. And then do number 51, the internet use. And then you do number 52 and then 53. All right. Okay. So this 1.3. So we finish 1.3. Okay. So 1.3, what we learn is the interpretation of the slope. Okay. What is the slope and interpretation of the y-intercept and also the x-intercept. And the one that we do today, we are given certain information. We can find the equation of the function. All right, so that is 1.3. So now we move on. We are not going to look at 1.4. We move on to 1.5. Now 1.5 is on the system of linear equations. So 1.5 is about a system of linear equations or linear functions. Sometimes we call it equation because that include sometimes, some equation, some linear equation which is not a function. For example, x equal to something, okay? Example, that is not a function, x equal to 3, all right? X equal to 3 is not a function, so that's why you just call it equation. Okay, so sometimes it involve all equations, but more generally, or sometimes it involve all functions, but more generally it would just involve equations. Okay. So what is a system? A system of linear equations is where you have two or more, okay? Two or more equations at the same time. Okay, so when you have two equations or more at the same time, we are interested in finding the solution. Finding the solution. Now, what is the solution? The solution is the intercept. Intersection. Okay, intersection of all equations in the system. So intersection of all equations in the system, that is the solution. So when you have a system, okay, you have two or more, then we are interested in finding the solution. And the solution is the intersection of all the equations in the system. So let's consider two equations. A system of two equations. This is what we consider, right? We can consider three, but that is beyond our discussion. So when you have a two equation system, let's say you have the following: y equal to m1x plus b1, we call it number 1. And then you have another equation, y equal to m2x plus b2, call it number 2. So here you have a system of 2 equations. So you want to find the solution. Now the solution is the intersection of all the equations in the system at the same time, because we already say that, a system is the equation where you have 2 or more at the same time. Okay, all right. So given that general form, you want to find the solution. So graphically, it will be something like this. Okay, visually, you can imagine something like this. You got X and Y here. You got one line, call it number 1, the equation number 1. And then you have another function, we call it number 2. So that is, or these are the equation in the system. All right. So you have equation number 1, equation number 2. Now the solution, by our definition, is the intersection of the 2 lines. So that is the intersection. So that will be the solution. We call it point E. So E, okay, is the solution to the system where the lines intersect. Okay, so that is the intersection. Okay, the intersection of the 2 lines or 2 equations. Okay, so that is the section. So if you look at this one, this example, you have the intersection here. It involves only 1 point. Okay, involve only 1 point. So we can call it X E, okay, Y E. Now E, okay, stands for equilibrium. I use the concept here more of economics, equilibrium. Equilibrium means where the 2 lines are equal. Okay, so equilibrium means the point. Okay, the point where the value, okay, the value of the 2 equations equal. So we call it equilibrium. Yeah, it's simply the solution. So equilibrium, we indicate that by X, E, Y, E. Okay, so that is intersection. Now, when you have a system of 2 equations like this, it's not always the case that you will have only 1 point as the solution. Okay, you have another possibilities. So this is the possibility number 1, where you have intersection 1 point. Now, possibility number 2, you may have infinitely many solutions. Okay, infinitely many, too many. Okay, infinitely many. Infinitely many means we cannot count, infinite. And number 3, sometimes there will be no solution. Okay. Infinitely many solution, sometimes probably quite difficult to see, but no solution and 1 solution, okay, 1 point solution is easy to see. Okay, so I want you to look at just case number 1. Okay, this is one example where you have 1 point. Okay, the solution is 1 point. Now, I want you to do this. I want you to draw for me. Okay, just sketch like what I'm doing. Here, okay, I have here M, line number 1, M is bigger than 0. What about, no, I'm sorry. Line number 2, line number 1, M is negative. Betul tak? Line number 2, What can you say about the M? The slope here.
Positive.
Positive. Okay, so if one slope is negative, one slope is positive, you have one solution. Okay, I want you to draw. Okay, I want you to draw both 1 and 2. The slopes are positive, and they have one solution like this. Okay, I want you to sketch. Sketch, just sketch. You know, don't worry about the value of the slope. Just sketch. You have both slopes positive, and there is only one point of intersection. Just draw it. So what can you say about the slope? Anybody who get the answer? You have only one point of intersection, but the slopes are both positive. Okay, from your graph, what can you say about the slope of the two lines? Okay, anybody got it? It will be like this. Okay, you got X, you got Y, 0. You draw one line like that. And then you draw another line. Okay, both, you draw another line. Slope is also positive and intersect one at only one point. Anybody got it? What can you say about the slope of the other line? Compare relative to the slope of the line number 1.
Okay.
You draw another line. Okay, let's say like this. You draw another line. You have one point of intersection. Now, what you can say about the slope? The slope 2 relative to 1. Both are positive.
Steeper.
Steeper.
Positive.
Positive, but the slope of 2 is steeper than, is larger than the slope of number 1. Is that right?
Okay. Oh, yes.
Betul tak?
Yeah.
And then you can draw also another line relative to number 1. You draw another line, number 2. The slope is flatter than number 1. This one I draw steeper, okay? 2, the M2 is steeper than M1. Now, I want you to just sketch, okay? If you sketch another line 2 that is flatter, the slope, than number 1. Do you get 1 point or you get many solutions?
1 point.
1 point. So if you do that, what we get will be here. Be like that. Okay, so M2 is flatter. Okay, so you get so many situations where the intersection is only 1. Now that is positive. If you draw another line, okay, negative slope, 1. Okay, gaduh ke siapa tu? Okay, you have a slope number 1 here, M. M1 is negative. Now you draw another line with negative slope, and you will have only 1 point of intersection. What can you say about the slope of the other line relative to M1? Sama kan? Okay. So For the situation number 1, where you have one solution, where you call it unique solution, all right? We need only one thing, solution. M1 is not equal to M2. If the slopes are not equal, there will be one solution. Okay, there will be one point. It can be both positive, both negative, one negative, one positive, doesn't matter. As long as they are not equal, you have one solution. Okay, all right. Okay, number 2. If there is no solution. Oi, gaduh apa tu? Akak, percaya? Okay, if there is no solution, that means there will be no intersection between the two lines. What can you say about the slope and what can you say about the intercept?
Slope is equal.
The slope are equal. What about the intercept?
No solution.
I know, no solution. Tapi intercept, the slope are equal. Alright? Siapa yang cakap di sini tu? Woi, cakap dengan siapa? Diam. Ini ada kelas ni. Gaduh ke tu? Hai. Okay, so no solution. The slope is the same, but the intercepts must not be the same. Okay, for example, you have, say, number 1 here, you have another line parallel. All right, so number 2 here, the slope are the same. All right, M1, M2 same, but the intercepts are not the same. So here, there will be no solution. In other words, they are parallel. Okay, so if the lines, you have the slope equal, intercepts different, you will get no solution. Okay, all right. Now, number 3, when you have infinitely many solutions, then what about the line? What about the slope and the intercept? What about the slope first? Okay, you have infinitely many solutions. What about the slope?
The slope the same?
The slope are equal. Okay, the slope is the same. Now, what about the intercept?
Equal.
Sama.
Sama juga. Okay, if you have both, the intercepts equal, the slope equal, that means the line number 2, okay, the line number 2, we actually have the same equation as line number 1. You will have every point on the lines are solution. Okay, so infinitely many solution. Okay, all right. Now, the reason why I do this, if you have 2 equations, okay, you want to find the solution. If you see the slope are equal, all right, if you see the slope are equal, then either you have infinitely many solution or you have no solution. All right, and number 2 and number 3 is not important. If you have no solution and infinitely many solution, then it doesn't help anything. Okay, you stop there. The one that is most important is where you have one solution. So this is the one that we are focusing on. There will be only one solution. So when you solve a system, you see the slope are not equal, then there will be only one solution. If you see the slope are equal and the slope equal, so don't worry about that. You know, it's either you have no solution or infinitely many solutions, and we are not interested in that thing. In other words, you will not get 1 point. Okay, we need only 1 point. Okay, so let's just focus on number 1. Okay, number 2 and number 3, I would like you to know. Okay, to know the condition. If the slopes are equal, then you can have no solution. And if the slope are equal and the intercepts are also equal, that means you will have infinitely many solutions. don't try to solve it because you will never get the solution. So let us look at case number 1. Okay, there is only one solution. Now, the method that we're going to use is, again, here, we just use substitution method. Right? Substitution method. That means we substitute. So you are given, all right? You are given the two equations like what we were doing, what we were having earlier. You have two equations, 1 and 2. So what you do in order for you to find the solution, we do substitution. Okay? So to get the solution, we do only the substitution method. So given the system, okay, 1 and 2, you want to find the solution. That means the point of intersection, which is XE, YE. So you want to find the point E, all right? So what you do, substitute. So now we substitute. Substitute 1 into 2. Or you can do either way. You can substitute 2 into 1. Okay, it doesn't matter. Substitute 1 into 2 or 2 into 1. Because you have y equal to something, y equal to something. Or you just substitute. Or they are equal, right? So you have to substitute y equal to something, y equal to something. If you substitute 1 into 2, then you will get substitute 1 to 2, okay? So what you get will be m1x plus b1 equal to m2x plus b2. Okay? So now you can solve for x. So you bring the x to the left. So you got m1x minus m2x equal to b2 minus b1. Now here, okay, we just tell you the method, all right? Tell you the method and that will help you in order to do the operation. So factor out the x. So you got m1 minus m2 x equal to b2 minus b1. So therefore, x equal to b2 minus b1 divided by m1 minus m2. Together. Bring this m2x to the other side. You bring the b1 to the other side. And you got it. Okay. All right. So now b1 minus b2, m1 minus m2. Okay, I didn't mention to you here. The slope m1, m2. b1, the intercept b2. What is the nature of each of these values? X and Y are variables. B1, B2, M1, M2, what do you call it? What do you call them? They are not variable. So they are what? They are
Points.
constant. They don't change. Okay, constants. So M1, M2, the slope is a constant. It's just a number. Okay, so B1 minus B2 minus B1 divided by M1 minus M2 is also a constant. We call it, just call it what? Call it something. Call it B. So that you don't have to deal with B1 minus B2, M1 minus M2, it make your life difficult. So now you got X equal to B. Now when X you have found equal to B, you want to find the other point, the other value, which is what? Which is Y. So to find Y, what do we do? Here, you find Y. to find the value of y. To find y, which is the ye tadi tu, right? What do? We substitute x. Now x, what you got is equal to b, okay, which we just label. Now that is xe, okay, that is the equilibrium value of the x. So you substitute x equal to b into what? Here, you can do it into 1 or you can do it into 2. Doesn't matter. You make your choice. Okay, so you choose either 1 or 2. Depending on you, you make your mind. Doesn't matter, you will get the same thing. So say we substitute into 1. So now what you got will be y equal to m1 multiplied by b, okay, which is the xe, plus b1. So you got y equal to m1 multiplied by b plus b1. Now that is also a constant. So we call it d. So now you got y equal to d. And of course, that is also equal to ye. Okay, so the solution is xe, ye, okay, equal to what? Equal to bd. So that is our solution. Now, that will be one value, there will be one value, the constant. Okay, now the thing here is we just use the method of substitution. So like I said earlier, substitution method you will be using until the end of the semester. You know, very, very important and basic and simple method. Okay, all right. So now let us look at an example. So I want you to, you go home, I want you to look at example number 1 in the book. Now, example number 1 in the book, they give you the general form. Okay, a general form. Now, we want to do the substitution method. So what you do here, okay, if you're given general form, you can use 1 or 2, you write in terms of the slope intercept form. You write 1 or 2 slope intercept form, and then you substitute into the other. Okay? Substitute into the other. Okay. Because they give you general form. Now, what I will do, we'll just start, or we'll just give the slope intercept form. So you don't have to do any adjustment. Okay? We just substitute right away. So example number 1, you go home, you do it. All right. So example number 1, because you want to do the substitution method, so I want you to do, okay, do for homework. Example 1 on 1.5. Now I give you another example. All right, another example, a system of 2 lines. So here, suppose we have, okay. Now I would like to mention about attendance today. All right, today I have 78, just now 80. So there are a few people who come in, come out, come in, come out. You know, I check the attendance. There were a few people who come in 5 minutes and leave. You know, now you don't show your behavior, beginning of the semester. Dah mula buat perangai. Okay, some people, they already started their bad behavior from the beginning of the semester. Now, if you, like I said earlier, if you want to come 1 minute, 2 minutes, better don't come at all. Okay, so it's not good. You are cheating yourself. Okay, you come 5 minutes, you take in your name, and then you leave. You are stupid. Okay, you are cheating yourself. You are not cheating me. Okay, now that's number 1. Number 2, we have here, all right, about how many people? Let me see. How many students in the 3 section? I have 34 plus. I have here about 90 students. Okay. In the class as of now, the list, there are 90 students. What I see here, about 80 and now 79. So about 10 people are missing. Okay, I think 10 people missing, that is, if you have these 10 people missing every day, I hope they are different people. If they are the same people, then it's really not a good sign. Okay, because I think I told you, if you want to be absent, don't be absent consecutively. If you want to be absent, distribute it over the semester. Okay, once in 1 month, that's fine, because sometimes you also feel tired coming to my class. But if we have the attitude of being absent regularly, then that's a problem. So if you think about this, all right, if you like to attend only 5 minutes, and some people do not like to attend class, now you have 2 weeks for 4 classes, and you miss already 2 classes, that is 50%. I think it's better you think about dropping the course rather than at the end of the semester, you don't know what's going on. Okay, we don't know what's going on, and then we don't even have the homework. So it's no point, you get F or you get E just because you absent so many times. Okay, it's not that we cannot do it, but we are absent. So if you think, that you want to be absent so many times, I would suggest you consider dropping the course. All right, because that kind of behavior will normally lead to bad results. So don't ever think of that. I don't like people like this. If you have think about that, change your mind. Come to class regularly. Okay, we are here to learn. Okay, we are here not to be absent. Don't waste your money. Okay, don't waste your money. You register, you don't come. What's the point? Okay, so those people who like to be absent, okay, your friends, if you know, tell them to start to come to class, because I observe almost every day about 10 people are missing, and I hope they are not the same people. If some of the people are the same people, that miss a few classes already, it's not a good sign. So don't be that. Okay, don't be that kind of student. Okay, all right. So now let's continue. I have 5 more minutes. I can give you an example. So let's consider an example. Let's say you have y equal to 5.1x plus 62. And then I have another equation, y equal to negative 2x minus 37. This is 62. That's number 2. Okay. So what you do, in order for you to find the solution, okay, find the solution E, we substitute 1 into 2. So when you do that, we have what? We have 5.1x plus 62 equal to negative 2x minus 37. So, if you go back to the method of substitution, so we will solve for x first. All right. So you bring the x to the left. So we'll get 5.1x plus 2x equal to negative 37 minus 62. So you know, one thing is we do the step, you know, do step by step. All right. Don't jump. Okay. Don't jump. Just give me the answer. We go step by step so that we know how we get the solution. Okay. So this will equal to 7.1x equal to negative 69. Is that right? 69? No. Hello.
Negative 99, sir.
Negative 99, sir.
99, sir.
Yeah, you're right. 99, 69. 99. And then x will be equal to negative 99 divided by 7.1. Okay, yang tu berapa tu?
Negative 13.94.
Negative 13.94. Okay, good. So that is XE. Okay, we can call it XE. That is the equilibrium point solution. So what you do next is that we substitute again. X equal to negative 13.94 into either 1 or 2. Okay, this one you do it. Okay, so do the other substitution. So you can put either 1 or 2 will get the same thing. So some people do in 1, some people substitute in 2. All right. So if your name start with M, kita bagi separuh. M, from A to M, or your name start M, substitute into number 1. If your name is N to Z, okay, substitute into number 2. So that you know, I have some people doing substitution into number 1, some people doing the substitution into number 2. So you have about half and half. Okay, anybody got the answer yet? Okay, those people who substitute into number 1, what is the value of y?
Negative 7.7.
Negative 7.7. Everybody know. Other people who substitute into number 1, do you get negative 7.7? I have at least to have at least 2 people, you know, to verify the answer. Seorang je dapat, yang lain. For those who substitute into number 1, you will get y equal to berapa tadi? 7.7 eh? Hello?
Sir.
Ah.
Sir.
Yeah.
Salah. Negative 9.094.
Negative 9.
9.094.
0.94. 0.9 je lah. Okay, I think we can round it up. Negative 9.1. Sebab dia dah 0.9. Okay. So that is YE. Now, anybody who substitute into number 1, you get a different answer. Everybody got negative 9.1?
Yes,
okay,
sir.
bagus. Betul. Betul lah tu. Okay, now, if you substitute in number 2, what do you get?
Negative 9.12.
9.1 lah tu. Okay. So if you substitute into number 2, you will get negative 9.12. Okay. If you put into 1, you got negative 9.09. So you round out to 1 decimal point, negative 9.1. So actually, so the point here is, when you do real numbers, you know, you substitute into one equation, substitute into the other, sometimes you will not get exactly the same, all right? Probably the difference will be not significant. The difference will be, you know, the third decimal point, or, you know, the fourth decimal point, depending on our roundup. But, you know, that will be acceptable. That will be taken as what? As the same. So, for example, here, you substitute number 1, you will get 9.09. Okay, for 2 decimal point, and here you got 9.12. So if you round it up to 1 decimal point, you get same thing. But they're very close. Okay. So when you do this kind of substitution, we should allow for this thing. All right. But of course, if you got -9, substitute into number 1, you got -9, and then some people substitute number 2, you got 12. That one, tak boleh ya. Itu jauh mengarut tu. Okay. So if you get that kind of thing, probably one of us, the answer is wrong. Okay. All right. Any question about this? So that is 1.5. Now 1.5, I would like to give you some practice question. So if you look at the question 1.5, most of these questions, they will start with general form. So like I said, go back to the example that I asked you to read. One of them you write in the slope intercept form and then substitute. Okay. So for 1.5, I'll give you a few more questions. So you do question number 6, 7. Okay. And then you do the one that is exactly the same as what we were doing. I mean, both are intercept, slope intercept form. You do number 25, do number 26. Now, the question number 25, they ask you to use Excel or calculator. Okay, don't worry about that. 25 and 26, you just use substitution method. Okay, just do, because we want to just verify the method that we were doing. Okay, all right. So I think 4 questions. So if you want to do more, okay, if you want to do more, you can do a few more, You can do number 13 up to number 16. All right, you can do that. But I think this 4 be sufficient. So the method is substitution method. You do double substitution. All right? You substitute 1 into 2, and then you do the other substitution to get the other value. Okay, any question? So hopefully, yeah. Yes?
For the answer, we should leave the answer up to 3 decimal places or 1 decimal place is enough?
That will depend, all right? That will depend. Sometimes, sometimes you round out into 1, like what I did here. But when you do it, okay, when you do it regularly, normally, okay, because sometimes, when you get decimal point, if you round out to only 1 point, 1 decimal point, sometimes the value that you get for your objective, because here we just need to find the equilibrium. But sometimes we are going to make use of that equilibrium to find a value of another function. So if you round up to 1 point only, sometimes the value of the other function will divert a little bit. So, I would prefer, okay, at least 2, okay, or 3, 2 decimal points or 3, but I think maintain it 2, at least 2, so that you will not get that much diversion for the value of the other function that you want to determine. All right? But for this one, we just use 1 decimal point. Why? Because we want to see, okay? We want to see, you substitute into 1 equation, and some people substitute into the other equation. You don't get exactly the same, right? But they are so close, okay? So if you round up to 1, you got the same thing. So that's why I rounded up to only 1, decimal point. Okay, all right.
Okay,
So you there is no rule, okay? There is no rule. 1 decimal point, 2 decimal point, 3, 4, 5. It's up to you. Okay, that's up to you. Okay, like I said, because normally when you do this kind of thing, it involves another function. We do not end with the equilibrium. Okay, we make use of the equilibrium to find a value of another function. So in that case, you need to have a height more than 1 decimal point, so that the answers will be more closer to the actual answer. Okay, but if you use 1, okay, no problem. All right. So it's up to you. But I would suggest, okay, for me, at least we use 2, okay, 2 decimal point. Jangan sampai 10 decimal point. Okay, tak logik. Alhamdulillah, 1 page. Alright. So use 2 or 3, that's okay. Okay. Okay, so I'll see you again. I hope you will do the homework questions. If there is any problem with the questions, you can raise the problem in the WhatsApp group. Okay, just raise the question in WhatsApp group. I will try to respond. If I don't respond, one of your friends can respond. So make use of the WhatsApp group to discuss. Don't to discuss the homework question. Okay, all right. So anything else?
No.
No, okay, good.
Okay.
Okay, have a nice weekend. Okay, have a nice weekend. Study a little bit. Okay. Go out a little bit. Don't just stay at home. And stay safe. Okay, stay safe. So I'll see you again. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.
Thank you, sir.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Have a nice
Thank you, sir.
Me. Yeah, sure. Inshallah.
Have a nice day, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thanks.